Robert Francis Kennedy was born on November 20, 1925. He was born in Brookline, Massachusetts. Robert, fondly called Bobby, was the seventh of 9 children. His parents were Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy. The Kennedys were a prominent family. They were known for their wealth and their commitment to public service. Bobby Kennedy's childhood was privileged. However, it was also marked by high expectations. His father instilled in him a strong work ethic and a drive to succeed. The Kennedy children were taught to value ambition and excellence. Competition was encouraged among the siblings. Despite his family's wealth, Bobby was a sensitive and compassionate child. He was deeply affected by the suffering he witnessed during the Great Depression. This experience instilled in him a strong sense of social justice. He carried this value with him throughout his life. Bobby attended prestigious schools, including Milton Academy and Harvard University. His education was interrupted by World War II. He enlisted in the Navy and served as a seaman. After the war, he returned to Harvard and graduated in 1948. He then went on to study law at the University of Virginia. After graduating from law school in 1951, Robert Kennedy began his career in public service. He worked as a lawyer for the Department of Justice. In 1952, he served as the campaign manager for his brother John F. Kennedy's successful U.S. Senate campaign in Massachusetts. In 1953, Robert married Ethel Skakel. They would go on to have 11 children together. Family played a central role in Robert's life. He was a devoted husband and father. From 1957 to 1959, Robert served as chief counsel for the Senate Rackets Committee. This committee investigated labor racketeering and organized crime. He gained a reputation for his toughness and his determination to root out corruption. He was unafraid to take on powerful interests. Robert's work with the Senate Rackets Committee brought him national attention. He became a recognized figure. He was known for his sharp intellect and his commitment to justice. This experience further fueled his passion for public service. It also laid the groundwork for his future endeavors. Robert Kennedy served as the 64th Attorney General of the United States from 1961 to 1964. He was appointed to this position by his brother, President John F. Kennedy. As Attorney General, Robert played a pivotal role in advancing civil rights. He also worked tirelessly to combat organized crime. Kennedy was a passionate advocate for equal rights. He strongly believed in racial justice. He used his position to challenge segregation and discrimination. He fought for the desegregation of schools and public facilities. He also worked to protect the rights of African Americans to vote. As Attorney General, Kennedy took a tough stance against organized crime. He expanded the Justice Department's organized crime and racketeering section. He oversaw numerous prosecutions against mafia leaders. Kennedy's efforts struck a blow against organized crime. His work made a lasting impact on law enforcement's fight against the mafia. Section 4. The 1968 Presidential Campaign, A Beacon of Hope. In 1964, Robert Kennedy was elected to the United States Senate, representing New York. He served in the Senate until his death in 1968. As a senator, Kennedy continued to champion social justice. He spoke out against the Vietnam War. He advocated for the poor and marginalized. By 1968, Kennedy had become a vocal critic of the Vietnam War. He believed that the war was morally wrong. He argued that it was draining resources from domestic programs. Kennedy called for a negotiated settlement to the conflict. On March 16, 1968, Robert Kennedy announced his candidacy for President of the United States. He entered the race seeking the Democratic nomination. Kennedy's campaign focused on a message of hope and unity. He called for an end to the Vietnam War. He advocated for racial justice and economic equality. Kennedy's candidacy energized the nation. He drew huge crowds at his campaign rallies. He inspired millions of Americans with his message of change. His campaign was cut short by tragedy. Section 5. The Assassination, A Nation in Mourning. On June 5, 1968, Robert F. Kennedy was fatally shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California. He had just won the California Democratic presidential primary. Kennedy was shot by Sirhan Sirhan, a 24-year-old Palestinian. Sirhan was convicted of Kennedy's murder and sentenced to life in prison. The assassination of Robert Kennedy sent shockwaves throughout the United States and the world. It came just 5 years after the assassination of his brother, President John F. Kennedy. The nation mourned the loss of another Kennedy. Many felt a sense of despair. They questioned the direction of the country. Robert Kennedy died on June 6, 1968, at the age of 42. His death left a void in American politics. He was a charismatic leader. He had the ability to connect with people from all walks of life. Kennedy was a champion of the poor and the oppressed. He offered hope for a more just and equitable society. Section 6. A legacy of hope and inspiration. Robert F. Kennedy's legacy continues to inspire people around the world. He is remembered for his unwavering commitment to social justice, his passionate advocacy for the poor and marginalized, and his belief in the power of hope and change. Kennedy's words and actions continue to resonate with people who strive for a more just and compassionate world. Kennedy's legacy is kept alive through the work of the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Organization. This organization was founded by his family. It works to promote human rights around the world. The organization carries on his legacy. They fight for justice and equality for all. Robert F. Kennedy's life was tragically cut short. His impact on American society and politics is undeniable. He left an indelible mark on the nation. He inspired generations to believe in the power of hope and the possibility of change. His legacy continues to serve as a beacon for those who strive for a more just and equitable world.